Good evening and welcome to the Borough Breakdown, brought to you by Scottish Building Society. Tonight's episode is going to be all about South Africa, with the squad in Durban ahead of games against the 𝗕𝗂𝗄𝗄 Sharks and the Emirates Lions. I'm delighted to be joined live from South Africa by Scotland internationalist James Lang and Head of Strength and Conditioning Mark Robertson, as we take you behind the scenes of what goes into a tour in the Southern Hemisphere. Don't forget that we want to hear from you during the show. What do you want to know about our guests and the team's preparations? So put your questions in the comments and we'll get to as many of them as we can. I'm James and I'll be your host this evening as we take a look at an away trip that's a bit further away from home than usual. Good evening, guys. Hope you're well. How are things in South Africa?
Yeah, all good. Loving life.
James, by any chance, were you reading that script off the TV? I think you were. Okay, you read it very well, but it was a bit of a giveaway. I've got to be honest.
I'm just very professional and remembered all my lines very well, Robbo.
Like that Ricky Bobby.
So we're taking you behind the scenes, not that far behind the scenes, but I mean, Langs, obviously it was quite a long flight out to South Africa. But I mean, how is everyone sort of settling in, and what's the mood in camp?
Yeah, mood's been really good. As I said, it was quite a long flight, but it all went pretty smoothly. I quite enjoy flights like that, just settle in and watch a load of new movies that aren't out yet. So I really enjoyed it. Boys settled in pretty well. Getting used to the conditions. It was very hot and very humid, so it was a bit of a struggle to get used to. But our boys are there now. We had a good training day today, and yeah, just been chilling around the resort, laying by the pool, and yeah, life's good.
And for yourself, Robert, it's sort of a few months into the job. I mean, how are you sort of settling in? And I guess, I mean, how's the sort of challenge of planning the conditioning for a South Africa trip after only a couple of months in the job going?
Has it seemed that long for you, James? Yeah, I've been in for 6 weeks. It's not been a few months.
That's a couple of months.
Yeah, no, it's been your months are a bit different to mine. No, it's been really good. As I say, coming in mid-season, there's lots of good systems already in place. So I'm sort of running with that and trying to add a little bits and pieces here and there. But like any rugby team, mate, you go into you quickly get to know who the characters are and who you're going to spend a little bit more time with, who likes to work hard, who doesn't. But in terms of this team, it's a team that are grafters, and we've seen that over the last couple of days. Langer says they've been lying by the pool, but at the same time they've done a fair bit of work already. And today was a toughie in the heat, but no, I've enjoyed it. It's been good fun.
And how's it been sort of coming back to the club? Because obviously you're a player here back in the day. I mean, how's it sort of been coming with a new stadium and I guess new atmosphere?
Yeah, it's a lot different, although it's a similar sort of place in terms of Murrayfield. Obviously, as you said, they've got the 𝗕𝗂𝗄𝗵 Stadium, which is cool. It creates a bit of an atmosphere. Whereas when I was playing, we'd be playing against Connacht at times in front of 4,000 people in a 67,000 seater stadium. So it's brilliant to actually see the sort of city behind the club with a good atmosphere. And also, like anything, it's just not the same club because it's full of totally different people. When I was there, I don't think there were none of the players playing that are playing now. Obviously, Mike's the head coach, and he was playing with me. So was 𝗕𝗂𝗄𝗵. Stevie was after me, but like a lot of the professional clubs, you just see how far they've grown in terms of the organisation as a whole and the professionalism. So no, it's really nice to come back to a club that you've played at. It gives you a little bit more of a connection than just going to any other club.
And Langers, how have you found working with Robbo? Has he just been sort of chewing your ear off about how it was in his day here?
Some questionable chat coming from him, but yeah, he's fitted in really well. I know Robbo. He was on my first Scotland tour to Canada and all that, so I know him a little bit through there. So yeah, no, it's been really good. Yeah, he's fitted in really well. All the boys have loved him coming in. A bit of a freshen up a little bit on the S&C side, and it's been working really well. So hopefully that continues.
And
Langers came across there as enthusiastic as your introduction, mate, James. Langers, come on.
I was reading it. I was
reading
it on my TV as well. No, he's class. What? I love him. We're like best mates as well. We go for coffee, so hang out all the time. He does this funny thing where he doesn't reply to my messages. It's really good. But
and Robbo, is Langers one of the hard workers, or one of the ones that tries to avoid stuff in the gym? I'm
going to give the diplomatic answer there that I've not quite seen enough of him yet. You know, he was ill last week. He's been in with the Scotland team, and to be honest, he's carried on trucking. You know, he's coming this week after being ill for a week or so, and he's trained pretty hard. So yeah, no negatives so far. You know, but I'm not.
I'm just head down, getting work done here.
Yeah. There's a bit of that, but I've not seen too much of the group yet, mate. But as I said to you before, from what I have seen, they are a hard-working group, and I think that was instilled from Lummers and Richard Cockrell as well. So hopefully I'll benefit from that, and then just add my side of things to it, which hopefully the boys enjoy and they feel like they benefit from.
Yeah, and I mean we've spoken a bit about the lengthy flight, and I mean obviously Langer said he was sitting watching films, but from your perspective, Robbo, I mean how difficult a challenge is it to prepare sort of players on that flight so that when you're getting to South Africa, you're sort of able to hit the ground running?
Well, obviously, one of the benefits is we're used to it from the sevens. So I had a lot of experience with the sevens. Going to Hong Kong, you're going to get really, really bad jet lag, and that kind of takes 7 to 8 days to come over it. Whereas coming this way, there's only a 2-hour time difference. So after a day or two, in terms of your circadian rhythm, your body clock, that's kind of back to normal. But the issue is we're on the flight for 27 hours, and with that, you're in the same position. So boys have come off and they're pretty stiff in terms of the lower backs, and you feel pretty lethargic after that as well. And sleep patterns are a bit messed up. So the first day that we came in, when we arrived in the afternoon, that was really, really chill. The boys were in the pool. And in the first full day we just did a bit of a recovery in terms of light upper body weights, a light spin, and a little bit on the pitch in terms of clarity. And then today, our second full day, that was the day that we had to get a really good training stimulus in. Also, just so they get that first shock to the heat, because it's 25, 26 degrees and pretty humid with that as well. So we didn't want the game to be their first shock. So we put them through a bit of a tough session today, which they coped pretty well with. There were some red faces, a little bit like mine. Mine's not so much from the work ethic. It's more so that I sweated quite a lot and the sun cream came off my face, so I got a bit burnt. But not when they go into the game on Saturday. The hope is that they've had that first exposure to the heat and the sun, and then when we get into the game on Saturday, it'll be easier. You know, the conditions won't be quite as tough because we won't have the sun coming down on us as well. So that's the plan anyway.
And I mean, James, we had a question from your mum actually asking if you'd put on your Factor 50. But I mean, what have been the players' sort of first impressions of South Africa, and I guess how quickly have you felt like you've been firing on all cylinders?
Yeah, I think the boys are really enjoying it so far. We're under no illusions that like this is a massive couple of weeks for us, like 2 big games, and we're going to have to get used to the conditions very quickly, and it's going to be tough on Saturday. But I think the boys are really looking forward to the challenge coming. I know I am. It's my first time in South Africa. It's a very cool place. As Rob said, the heat is definitely a challenge, but I think we've done everything this week to prepare ourselves for the best possible way for the game. I think today was, as Robert said, was a big session. at the height of the heat, really. So I can't imagine it being as bad as that on Saturday, which is good. So yeah, I think boys are really looking forward to. It's a good chance to kind of connect as well, and like come close as a group, but also we know how important these games are. We need to get a win, and I feel that we put our best foot forward. We'll have every chance to do so. So yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, you mentioned the sort of bonding part of it. I mean, how is it being on tour? Because I guess normally you're training and then, you know, some people have got to go and pick up their kids or whatever it might be, or some people are going to uni. But I mean, how is it sort of being in the hotel for 2 weeks and sort of just seeing each other all the time?
So you repeat that, or you cut off then?
Oh no, I was just saying, is it, you know, being on tour and seeing each other all the time, how does that sort of compare to when you're in Edinburgh, when I guess, you know, once you finish training, people go their separate ways?
Yeah, it's good. I'm really enjoying it. As I said, like it's boys with each other on different level, really with at training. So yeah, no, it's really good. I think the boys are really enjoying it.
And Robbo, for yourself, obviously seeing the players all the time, is it a chance to, you know, make sure that everyone's being well behaved and doing what they should be when they've finished training?
Nah, not so much, James. To be honest, they're not. They're not kids, and as I said before, it's a pretty diligent group, and you know the boys are here because they're competitors and they want to win. You know, so they're going to do as much as they can to recover the best way they can. We provide a little bit of advice, but a lot of the time it's common sense, you know. And if the boys have any questions, they'll tend to ask us. We're an open group of staff, both the coaches, the medical staff, and the S&C staff. So it is really just being there to help out with, you know, in terms of the recovery aspects from a nutrition point of view. We're hot on that. 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵, he sort of leads on a lot of the supplement side of things, and he's on top of that. But being in a hotel and being together all the time, it's probably the perfect sort of environment to ensure the boys are recovering as best they can. And as Langer said there too, it's a great chance for guys to just spend a little bit of downtime together and maybe develop the relationships with different guys that potentially they wouldn't do, but also the coaching staff and the management staff. It means that we've got a chance to spend a little bit more time one-on-one or in small groups with the players too. And I do believe that when you spend a little bit more time together outside of training, you tend to get a little bit closer and you tend to get to know people a little bit more. And that's part of being in a team, is you play for the people that you know and you care about a bit more. It's not just about turning up and playing for any old team. The team is your teammates around about you, and Mike places a big emphasis on that as well, in terms of the players spending time together and also the coaches getting to know the players to find out what actually makes them tick. Because you know we've got 31 players out here in South Africa, and that'll be 34 next week. But all those players are different. So, and also how they all tick is different, and that's one, the player's responsibility, but also the staff's responsibility to understand how each individual ticks, you know, and what allows them to perform to their best of their ability. Because I think we firmly believe as a staff group that if this group plays to the best of their ability, they can beat anybody. We're fit. We're aware that there's going to be a big challenge at the weekend against a really strong team, but that's the exciting thing about this group. It's got the potential to beat anybody on their day.
Yeah, 100%. So I think we're struggling a bit with Wi-Fi with James, but I mean another part of it was, is he in? Obviously you mentioned like the downtime, but how important is it that you're giving guys the sort of space to, obviously you mentioned like the one-on-one chats and things like that, but just to sort of, I guess, be relaxed and sort of have time to do whatever they can do in a hotel, I guess?
Oh, really important. you think about it. We play one game a week. It's 80 minutes, so you're not on the training pitch that much in terms of the demands of training and playing. A simple way to think about it: we try and put around about 3 times the match volume through the players through the course of it each week, which would include the match. So our training would be equivalent of 2 matches spread out over the course of 5 days. And round about that, it's really important that the players get some time to just do what they want, And as I say, they're all different. So they've got time if they want to go to the shops, if they want to go and have coffee, if they want to go and have some downtime by the pool, they want to read. They got to have that space, and that's why when it comes to recovery as well, we don't lead loads and loads of recovery. We give them options. If they want lead options, we'll ask the senior group and different individuals what they'd like, and trust that they'll make the right decisions. And then at times we'll put lead sessions on from a recovery aspect or strength and condition aspect as well. But you got to place a lot of trust in the players and give them a fair bit of autonomy, because as I say, they get to this level because they're winners. And they want to perform. They're not just here to make up the numbers. They're here to try and do something that Edinburgh have never done before by winning titles and championships.
Yeah, so I think we've well, James can hear us apparently, but I think he's
back.
I've got a couple of questions from fans. I mean, I got a question from Joe. Which I think this one is you can answer, Robbo. Is that who's the hardest trainer in the squad?
Hang on, Langers, are you playing musical statues, mate? Or are you actually there?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
But you're just,
can you see me?
It's quite impressive because you're speaking, but your mouth's not moving. So you can.
Oh, really?
Sorry,
what
was
me?
it? Yeah, at least we can hear you, mate.
Cool.
That's better. What was the question there, James? Again, sorry.
Who's the hardest trainer in the squad?
Again, I could only go from what others have said. There's a few guys that would come to the top of my head. So they've said 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵, he's a machine. He doesn't miss many sessions. Touch wood, really robust and kind of takes whatever comes at him. Been really impressed with 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵 as well. He's a really good professional. And then you've got other guys too, Harrison Courtney and Angus Williams as well. But to be honest, James, there's loads of hard workers, and a lot of that stuff's behind the scenes as well. It's not always about who works the hardest on the training pitch and looks like they're physically battling as much as possible. It's the little things off the pitch as well that count towards that. So, yeah. But as I say, from what I've seen previously in the clubs that I've been involved in previously, it's a pretty impressive group of players with regard to work ethic.
I mean, we'll try and put the same question to you, Langers. I mean, if you can hear and speak, but I mean,
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Who in the squad is sort of, when you arrived, it sort of impressed you and you thought, oh bloody hell, they really go for it?
Yeah, similar to what Robert said. Like 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵, he always goes for it in training. He trains really hard. Same with 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵𝗵. I'm quite close with Ben. I knew him previously before joining, and he's the ultimate professional. He's always doing his little extras after training, get his extra abs in, just getting summer ready, which I respect. But yeah, like everyone's been working hard, and I think that's the beauty of our squad. Like everyone's willing to kind of like put their bodies on the line and train hard and fight for each other, and in training, and that rolls over to games as well. So yeah, I think we've just got a really hard working squad, and because we're so close as well, everyone kind of wants to fight for each other and work hard for each other, and that's only going to benefit the team on weekends. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it certainly doesn't sound like a holiday, and we've been lucky enough to send our videographer Joe out to South Africa to give you a little bit of an insight into what they've been up to on the pitch.
Yeah, and even the staff.
hard work. I think we've got a question from one of the players, actually. I think Christine's got a question for Robbo. Why is Robbo so red?
It's nothing to do with the sun. I'm just extremely nervous, and just finished just out of a hot shower. Actually, yeah, that's the reason. No, as I said, I did get a little bit of an error today. You know, I should have maybe put the factor 50 on as opposed to factor 30, but it'll be brown by tomorrow.
I'm definitely going to believe you. We'll see you tomorrow,
Cheers,
I guess. And I've got a question from Michael, which I guess for you, Langers. How does training compare sort of with the South African weather versus Edinburgh? I mean, obviously it's very hot, but I mean, how does that actually sort of impact you when you're actually out there doing your stuff?
Yeah, it's definitely been a bit of a challenge. Obviously, not used to this hot weather, and as Rob said earlier, it is a little bit of humidity as well. So it's definitely tough on the lungs. But yeah, like, today's session was a tough session. Yeah, it's just a lot of factors really. Obviously the heat, the sun, having to sun cream up, and it just takes it out of me. But I think we're slowly getting used to it. You kind of adapt. You've got to adapt quite quickly. We're only here for 2 weeks, so I think we've kind of gotten used to it. Today was a good challenge, and I'm hoping it doesn't get much hotter. Although it's nice, the sun is nice, but my body's not made for the sun. I do burn very easily, so it's the kids factor 50 for me. I've got some spare, Robert, if you want some. Don't worry.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, no, there is a noticeable difference with the heat out here, so it's definitely a challenge.
I mean, it's obviously a lot hotter there, and South Africa is known for sort of braai and biltong. I mean, Robbo, how's the sort of diet get affected when you go across to a different country? Sort of, everyone probably wants to be having a barbecue every night, but that maybe isn't the best thing.
Yeah, no, we send our menus over to the chefs in advance, and try and keep it pretty stable to what the boys are used to, because tomorrow's a light day for the boys, so we put on a barbecue tonight, and had some different stuff. But yeah, it doesn't change too much, James. You know, you got to try and keep that as consistent as possible, because what you don't want to be getting is, you know, upset stomachs, a bit of gastrointestinal distress, especially the night before matches, because as you said, it's already a pretty stressful environment with the heat, and the body's already under more stress than it's used to when they're doing the similar sort of intensity of training. But yeah, to be honest, the food has been, like, well, Langers will say as well, I think the food's been absolutely brilliant at the hotel. From my end, I've been really, really chuffed with it. We've had no issues with it so far.
And actually, Langs, I've got a food-related question coming in, which is along those same lines. It's from Niall, which is, what is your favourite pre-match meal?
Oh, very good question. So my kind of ritual for the day before a match would be a carbonara. That's kind of been it for the last maybe two seasons. I make a great carbonara, so that's why I have that meal. So yeah, I'll usually stick to that. But if that's not available, then just some carbs and a spag ball. Just making sure I get the right amount of carbs, protein intake, and stuff like that to make sure I'm ready for the game on the weekend. So
yeah, I mean, and sort of about the game, it's obviously quite an exciting proposition going against the Sharks. I mean, they've put out their team, and it's got 𝗕𝗿𝗵 and 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗵 in it. I mean, Langers, if you're playing on Saturday, I mean, how excited would you be to go up against those guys?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, I mean, you see the likes of 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗵 and 𝗕𝗿𝗵 playing the World Cup and stuff like that, and it's a great chance for us to challenge ourselves against some of the best players in the world, and it's something that if I get the opportunity, then I'll be ready to kind of take it. And yeah, I know the lads are really looking forward to the challenge. It's it's my first time playing out in South Africa. So I've been pretty excited all week. So hopefully, if I get the opportunity, then yeah, it'll be a good challenge, and hopefully we can come away with the win and have a nice little celebration too.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned it's your first time in South Africa, but you'll have played against a few South Africans in your time. And we have another fan question from Rourke, which is, who's the toughest South African you've played against, or for that matter?
Can't remember who have I played. I mean, the toughest South African I've probably played with is 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵, nicknamed Andre the Giant, at Quins, for obvious reasons. He's massive. But yeah, I off the top of my head, I can't really remember. Oh, the 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗵 brothers at 𝗕𝗿, massive, huge. They were always very physical, and yeah, that was always a tough game. That's when we played 𝗕𝗿. I mean, it was full of South Africans, and they're all massive and very physical team. So I'd say any number of the South African contingency at 𝗕𝗿 Sharks. That was a pretty tough day at the office.
I mean, Langers has been mentioning how massive they all are. I mean, Robbo, is in your role as sort of strength and conditioning, it's obviously about preparing people to, I guess, face those kind of guys. But how would you sort of go about getting someone like Langers to go up against like 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗏?
I think they'll hold their own. To be honest, that's the thing. You look at their team as well, and some of their most aggressive players are actually in the backs. You've got like Werner Kok, and it's similar with us, with our boys. Some of our most aggressive ball carriers would be in the backs as well. And we know that rugby is a game for all shapes and sizes. And a lot of the best players in the world are some of the smallest players that play the game. And that's certainly the case within our team as well. It's got a good mix. So you're not really thinking about preparing them for playing those individuals as well. You're trying to just prepare them so that they're able to play to the best of their ability and focus on getting themselves right. And I think if they get themselves right, and they'll be in a decent position to perform well and have a chance of winning the game.
Well, fingers crossed, and obviously best of luck to both of you on Saturday. Thank you so much for taking time out while you're in sunny South Africa. I've just got one last question, which is from Mrs. Lang.
Oh God!
Have you sent your mum a Mother's Day flower or card?
It's on its way. It's on its way, Mum. Don't worry. You'll get it. You'll get it Sunday.
Perfect. Well, hopefully it's with a win on Sunday as well. But anyway, cheers, guys, and hope you enjoy the rest of the tour.
Cheers, James.
Cheers, James. Take care.
And thank you all for joining us this evening, and thank you to Scottish Building Society for making the show possible. We'll be back next week to discuss Saturday's clash against the Sharks. But if you're looking for a rugby fix in the meantime, you can head to 𝗕𝗿𝗵𝗏 Stadium to support Scotland women as they kick off their Six Nations campaign against England. Edinburgh will be back at home for a crucial European clash against 𝗿𝗏 on Friday, the 8th of April. We hope to see you there for what should be another thrilling night at the Dam. See you soon.